I think the sheer firepower of the super missile pushed them away. There we go. Okay. The nightmare's over. Omega Metroid Gauntlet has been defeated. Now we get another earthquake, opening the way forward again. And, did you hear that? Because I think I heard something loud and angry and gurgling. I think I'm good to just go. I don't want to say I need to hit the save point again. We'll see. Whoop, that's right. No super missiles, so I don't need to hit my toggle quite as many times. Just drop down here. You see, I kind of wish I had pulled off a Shine Spark there, but in reality there's like no distance to actually make it worthwhile. No vertical distance anyway. So, yeah. These corridors just kind of wind around. And now we can finally see Normlake again. Yay! Hit the save point, and that's why I wasn't really concerned about my super missile count. Please, please, thank you. We got 9 Metroids left to find. And now that I don't have to fight in near blindness, that probably won't be nearly so hard. In this area, it's really important to continue to use your space jump through the waterfalls, because the floor is false. You can go right through it in some points. In fact, I want to say this is one of them. Yep. And that's pretty faithful to the Game Boy version of the game. That doesn't mean it's not mildly annoying. Really nice if you get all the way to the end and decide, I want to go back and get the things I missed. So you can use these as basically a quick travel point to get through these floors. At the same time, if you're just trying to get through here and you don't know you need to stay in the air, you can just walk right into these holes and you can't go back up them. So, they really just add to the annoyance factor, in my opinion. Well, especially if there happened to be one then. That would have really sucked. Or there. They're almost always around the waterfalls, though. Little divots into the floor you can see. Just want to get all the way out of here. Then this is basically the point, well, not of no return, but here's the last one of the water pits with a area that you can use to quickly travel back to where you've been. And this is a pretty cool background. You can see just this giant Chozo city. Huge, cavernous, I don't know, art. I think it looks pretty cool. Very Game Boy Advance appropriate. Way into that giant Chozo statue with the glowy blue orb. That's not the way up. This is. And then this suddenly just throws you right into that Game Boy feel with the monochrome. Minus the doors and save points. And of course, you know, Samus. But yeah, we are right in here at the end of the game. Broken Chozo statue. That's definitely not ominous. And it's certainly not a sign of things to come. We get up to here, and just like in a actual Return of Samus, you see that Metroid egg, and at that point of the game, the Metroid counter, which is, I want to say, omnipresent, and shows you how many Metroids there have been the entire time, suddenly jumps up and spikes to have another, like, 8 or so Metroids. Here it's just been consistent, so there's no real surprise. Except that these things are the larval form of the Metroids, which, in many cases, are the toughest! Thankfully, treat them like any missile door, and they'll go down. Freeze them, and then shoot them with 5 regular missiles, or 1 super. Whoop. Oh, crap! No, that's not what I wanted. Get off. Alright. It doesn't help that the physics continue to come into play after you shoot them with the ice beam, and they will just drop out of the sky. Like a rock. Or ice cube. Make the shots count. On hard mode, they will not stay for frozen nearly as long as they do in easy or normal. So it's important to maintain the freeze on them until you can secure a direct shot with a missile. What am I doing? I have a charge beam. Yeah, side effect charge beam. It draws in items. If you've forgotten, it's really important for the end of the game. You know, just heads up. 3 to go. And of course, each of these rooms locks you in, just like the Metroid Gauntlet and Zero Mission. Also, this seems like it might be a callback. If anyone remembers the room in Zero Mission where you bomb out the floor and drop in on more Metroids. Whoa, hi! Both you at once. Not cool. Not what I intended. Worked out, though. 1 left. And you know what? Guys, babies come from somewhere. Where there are babies, there's always a mother. The Queen Metroid. The only organism naturally capable of producing offspring. Basically, Metroids are xenomorphs. Also, this music's pretty cool. Thankfully, she is vulnerable to just getting shot in the face with missiles. Whoop. And she likes to send out these things, which you can destroy for power-ups. Whoop. So it's important to just take your time, honestly. In this phase of the fight, her head will home in on where you are. You can try and juke it, and the more damage you nail on her, the more of these things she'll send out. So it honestly kind of gets easier at a certain point when you've done enough damage. Because even though she does a whole bunch of damage to you, you can pretty much guarantee taking some of these things out so you can recover. And you get a little more damage in on her. Well, that's not how we're going to do it. We need to start using those super missiles. Oh good, 5. Let's draw the stuff in, please, thank you. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. It's important to not lose your cool either. It's totally possible to psych yourself out and find yourself just getting nailed repeatedly by her. Once you do enough damage, she'll get pissed off at you and shoot a giant, like, supernova fireball, which thankfully destroys the room. Now we're in tight, closed quarters, and she will no longer home in, she will only extend her face out horizontally. Even easier, because you can pretty much reliably stand in one spot and hit her repeatedly. And only have to jump sometimes. Give me that missile. Give me all that. Oh yeah. Rinse and repeat. Recycle the beat? Sure, why not? Third verse, same as the second. Don't get up in the doorway. It's pretty much a guarantee you're going to take damage. Whoop. I really shouldn't try to extend my jump with this space jump. I guess get in the doorway, she's going to come right at you. As it turns out. As long as you're jumping. Just charge up and then unload. Oh, cool. I didn't think I'd done quite that much damage to her, but I guess the fact that I have almost no super missiles should clue me in that I've really been pelting her. Unfortunately, here she returns to her original phase tactics. So it gets kinda tougher in my opinion at this point. Oh jeez! Wow, how did I not take damage there? Crap. I really wanted to get in at least some. Just rapid fire. Uh-oh. Okay, please give me the energy and super missiles and everything, because I'm going to need it. Get one super missile shot in, just, you know, little wink to her parting ways for that cycle. Go down! Thankfully, despite the harried nature of this fight, my energy's still doing pretty good. Whereas she's looking a little roughed up, don't you think? Missing some teeth, blemishes on her face from where missiles have just been impacting her. Her front frill is just wrecked. Oh no! At this point, you have two options. Shoot her in the face with missiles, or the much cooler rolling into her gut and laying a power bomb. Oh, that's just... Ugh, that's horrible. I love it. Feels like a slightly more PG rated Mortal Kombat. And also, it's a great homage to the Game Boy version of the game, where you could pelt her with missiles to the point where she opens up and you can roll right into her mouth and lay bombs. Power bombs didn't exist, but bombs did, and they were way more damaging because you're hitting her internal organs. It's just so much more gruesome and satisfying. Also, we saved the baby Metroid, kinda. I don't know if it really needed saving. Also, despite what you may want, you cannot destroy this. Also, don't destroy the baby Metroid, you're ruining the continuity. That thing needs to survive, so Samus can survive. Don't forget what happens in Super Metroid. Thank you. Now, this part of the game's pretty cool, and the newly, ish release of Samus Returns to the 3DS. You get to this point, and you may think the game's over, but it's not. There have been these crystals that only the baby Metroid can consume and remove from the playfield all around the world. So you can backtrack through that game, because if you want 100%, you're going to do some backtracking. Thankfully, it's got a highly upgraded version of the map and waypoint marker system that this game has. Clearly developed in not in tandem. And what's that word I'm looking for? Oh well, I can't think of it. They weren't based on one another, I don't believe. Two ideas very similar, thought up at the same time by different people. There's also another little hidden surprise at the end of that game if you get to this point. If you haven't played it yet, I'm not going to tell you what it is. You should play it. If you haven't played the official release of the 3DS Samus Returns, I urge you to go do so. It's very good. originally I thought this was better. But having come back and replayed AM2R, I have to say I think Nintendo did make the better product, but this is more faithful to the Game Boy version. I wish that Nintendo had actually gone out of their way to do more handheld Metroid games instead of just the two that we had on the Game Boy Advance, and finally one for 3DS. Not even made by Nintendo either. I can't even remember what the production company's name was called. It was Silver something. Was it Quicksilver? That doesn't sound right. They're the ones that did Castlevania Mirror of Fate that everyone hated. And I played the demo of it. No sir, did not care for it. So was vaguely worried when I heard that they got their hands on the Metroid game. But it turns out just fine. Very good. I got it for my 3DS. And I loved it. I kind of wish that I had the physical copy of it instead of just getting the download. But totally fine. Would make it a lot easier to find out who made that. Mercury Steam, that's what it was. They did an exemplary job. Is it better than the old Metro games? No, but they have an uphill battle there with, nostalgia. And yeah, you get a different picture based on your percentage and completion time. Obviously, like I said before, I was not trying to do this quickly, so getting it done in 4 hours and 7 minutes.
Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is at peace.
To be continued in Super Metroid. Yeah, that's okay, because I have gone through and done this game on other modes, easier ones, much more quickly than I did here, which is why I can show you the rest of the pictures. You can see here you get a nice little picture of a connection to Super Metroid. Samus making that call to Sarah Station, saying she's got a little gift for them. And then we know where that goes from there. It's kind of crazy to think that Super Metroid takes place like immediately after Metroid 2. There's almost no downtime. Also, wouldn't make sense for this game's version of it because Samus comes in with like no upgrades at all. She doesn't have missiles. Whereas at least in this game she started with 30, just like she did in the Game Boy version. Also, I didn't comment on it, but I think this is a really cute picture of Samus with the baby Metroid because she's looking back behind her, like making sure it's okay and following her. And it's pretty with the shooting stars in the background. Just real nice. For as much as I've been saying the official game is better, Dr. M64 did a wonderful job with this game. I really would love to see him get picked up by one of the big companies and to get to make these kinds of games officially. Either that or start up his own little indie team and do the same sort of thing with their own property. Just make something up. Can't be that hard, right? Yeah. It's totally easy to come up with new stuff. Certainly wouldn't be obvious what they're basing their game on. But for real, if they did something like that, I would be there day one. That is all I have to say about AM2R. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and you have a good night.